Hola and welcome to ProSpanish. Just before we start, I know that some of you are already beyond level 1 on your pathway to conversational fluency in Spanish, so I've created a special section for you in this video. You can jump ahead to the time frame on the screen now, and I think you'll find it really useful. But of course, you're welcome to stay with us with the main class and do both. Okay, we're going to start by unlocking hundreds of words that you already know. With these simple formulas. I'm just going to do 3 of them here. So let's have a look at words that end in BLY in English, like possible, impossible, horrible, terrible, probable, variable. These are often the same in Spanish, just with a Spanish pronunciation. So possible, posible, impossible, imposible, horrible, terrible, probable, probable, variable, variable. A pronunciation note there. The V in Spanish is pronounced like we'll have a listen again, variable, variable, like the letter B in English. Next formula, words that end in ENT and ANT in English are often the same in Spanish, we just add an E. So we have urgente, for urgent, just add in the letter E on the end of the English. Diferente, different, and you'll notice there's not a double F there, there's just one F in diferente in Spanish, and the reason for that is in Spanish we pronounce all the letters, so if we had a double F it would have to be diferente, which would sound a bit strange. Transparente, transparent, importante, important, constante, constant, and un restaurante. Un restaurante is a restaurant. And then there are a lot of words that end in AL that are exactly the same, except for the pronunciation. So, normal, natural, general, legal. What do you think illegal might be? Ilegal, un hospital, un animal. And there are lots more formulas like this, and these are incorporated throughout the ProSpanish course. Now, if you want to say it's in Spanish, it's big, it's small. It's is just es, 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 it's. How would you say it's possible? Es posible? How would you say, oh, it's terrible? Es terrible. Es terrible. How about if something is important? What would that be? It's important. Es importante. Es importante. So, es is it's. But it can also be the question, is it? Es urgente? Is it urgent? Es probable? Es probable? So is it probable? Is it likely, we would probably say. How would you ask the question, is it natural? What would that be? Is it natural? Es natural? Es natural? And how about, is it legal? Es legal? Es legal? How would you say, is it something important? Is it something important? And I need to give you the word for something, which is algo. Something is algo. Well, it's something or anything. So it could be, is it anything important? Is it something important? So what would that be again? It's algo for something or anything. So is it something important would be, ¿es algo importante? ¿Es algo importante? And how would we just say as a statement, it's something different? What would that be? It's something different. Es algo diferente. Es algo diferente. And back to the question, how would you say, is it something illegal? ¿Es algo ilegal? ¿Es algo ilegal? And we'll just take a quick pause there while I mention our very popular Levels 1 to 6 course. This takes the complete beginner or a near beginner right up to a conversational level of Spanish in a series of very easy to follow steps. All the lessons on this YouTube channel are supplementary, whereas the core levels 1 to 6 is very much a step-by-step program delivered by the same teacher as all the other videos on the ProSpanish YouTube channel. And while the style is very similar to what you'll be used to from these videos on the channel, the key difference is that every lesson carefully builds on the previous lessons so that you can really feel that progress of going from very little or no Spanish up to a level where you can confidently hold a conversation in Spanish. So again, that's available exclusively from prospanish.co.uk. Okay, next we have a pair of words. Often it helps to learn words in a pair. To eat and to drink. Comer, beber. Comer, beber. To eat, to drink. Comer, beber. How would you say it's important to eat? Let's just have that. It's important to eat, obviously, but just try that. Es importante comer. Es importante comer. So, for example, what would this mean? Es importante comer fruta. It's important to eat fruit. How would you say it's important to eat something? If somebody hasn't been well, it's important to eat something. What would that be? Es importante comer algo. Es importante comer algo. How about it's important to drink water? What would that be? It's important to drink water. And in case you don't know what water is, it's agua. So it's important to drink water is Es importante beber agua. Es importante beber agua. How about the question? Is it possible to drink something? Is it possible to drink something? What would that be? ¿Es posible beber algo? ¿Es posible beber algo? And you'll see when you've been using this method for a while that it's very easy to layer up new language once we've got these patterns. So, for example, we've got comer, beber, to eat and to drink, but we could just as easily have estudiar and practicar. Estudiar, to study. Practicar, to practice. Estudiar, practicar. What would it mean if I said es importante practicar español? Es importante practicar español. It's important to practice Spanish. How about maybe it's very, very noisy and you want to say it's impossible to study. What would that be? It's impossible to study. Es imposible estudiar. Es imposible estudiar. The word for I have is tengo. Tengo. What does it mean if I say tengo chocolate? Tengo chocolate. I have chocolate, or I have some chocolate. Tengo chocolate. How would you say I have something? What would that be? I have something, or I've got something. Tengo algo. Tengo algo. How about I've got something urgent? I've got something urgent. Like I've got something urgent to tell you. What would that be? Tengo algo urgente. Tengo algo urgente. How would you say I've got a restaurant? I have a restaurant. What would that be? Tengo un restaurante. Tengo un restaurante. And if you want to say I don't have in Spanish, it's just No tengo. We just put no at the beginning. No tengo. I don't have. How would you say, I don't have chocolate? I mean, in English we would say, I don't have or I haven't got any chocolate, but they don't tend to use the some or any so much in Spanish. So we would just say, I don't have chocolate. What would that be? No tengo chocolate. No tengo chocolate. What about, I don't have water. I don't have any water. What would that be? No tengo agua. No tengo agua. So, tengo, I have. No tengo, I don't have. And if you want to say, I have to, as in I must, I have to do something, we say tengo que, and then whatever it is we have to do. Tengo que comer. I have to eat, for example. Tengo que comer. So tengo is I have, but we add the que, and it turns the phrase into a kind of I have to, I must do something. How would you say, I have to eat something? Tengo que comer algo. Tengo que comer algo. And maybe you've been somewhere where the food is maybe a bit different, diferente, and you want to say, oh, I have to eat something normal. What would that be? Tengo que comer algo normal. Tengo que comer algo normal. Or maybe somebody invites you to a party, but you have to study. How would you say, I have to study? Tengo que estudiar. Tengo que estudiar. And maybe you have to study Spanish. Tengo que estudiar español. How about, I have to drink something? What would that be? I have to drink something. Tengo que beber algo. Tengo que beber algo. Maybe you have to drink something different. Tengo que beber algo diferente. And again, as I was mentioning before, once you have the kind of framework or the sentence patterns, then it's very easy to layer up. So we've got tengo que, I have to. We could have I prefer, prefiero. Prefiero, I prefer. How would you say? I prefer to drink something natural. What would that be? I prefer to drink something natural. Prefiero beber algo natural. Prefiero beber algo natural. Or instead it could be, I want, quiero. I want is quiero. We could say, I want to study something different. I want to study something different. And that would be, quiero estudiar algo diferente. Quiero estudiar algo diferente. So by now you should already have a sense of just how quickly you can learn Spanish with this approach. And you won't find another course with the same carefully crafted sequence and structure as the ProSpanish Levels 1 to 6 course. It's a step-by-step system designed to take you all the way to conversational fluency. Okay, and now the part of the video for our non-beginners. So we're just moving along a few levels on the pathway towards conversational fluency, and you can see we have some past verbs here. I saw, I gave, etc. But our main teaching point, our learning point, is to know when to use lo, la, or le. And you may know from previous lessons that lo, la is also used for it, and I've done a number of videos on this. But lo and la can also mean him, lo, the masculine, and her, la, feminine. But le also means him and her, and with this, with le, you can see that it's used for both, for him and for her. So how do we know whether to use le or lo, la? And incidentally, the grammatical term, you don't need to know this, but I'll tell you as an aside, the grammatical term for the le option is indirect object pronoun, and the lo, la are direct object pronouns. But the important thing is to know when to use one or the other. And here's a simple trick. If you can use the word something after saying him or her, and it sounds okay, then you should be using le. So for example, I gave her something. So the something in that phrase, that sounds fine. So the her there should be le, not la. I sent him something. Sounds good. The something there sounds good. So still we would use le. I bought her something. That sounds fine as well. So again, le would be used for her, not la. And with all these cases, you would use le because they match with the criteria where including the word something sounds okay. And it doesn't have to be something, it's just something is there in place of like another object. So it could be the word this or that, but it might also be a letter. I sent her a letter. So there's a letter instead of the word something. I just said something because it's general and covers most circumstances. And if, when you add in the word something to your phrase after him or her, if it sounds weird, if it sounds odd, then that means you should be using lo or la, not le as before. So let's say we've got the phrase I saw him. We want to say I saw him. Well, if we added something after him, I saw him something, and we know straight away that doesn't sound right. So we would have to use lo for him. I saw her something. Again, doesn't sound right, so we'd have to use la. It might be I invited him. I invited him. So which should we use for the him there? Should we use lo or le? Well, I invited him something is the test. If something in that phrase sounds okay, then we should use le for him, and if not, lo. So listen again. I invited him something. That doesn't sound right, so it has to be lo. Lo invité. I invited him. Okay, let's put this into action. Have a look at the table. How would you say I saw her? What would that be? I saw her. So just from the first two columns, la vi. La vi. I saw her. And let's extend it. How would you say I saw her last night? La vi anoche. La vi anoche. And of course the test would have been to add something after her. I saw her something, and that wouldn't make much sense. And how about I kissed him last night? What would that be? I kissed him last night. It would be lo besé anoche. Lo besé anoche. Again, could we put something there? I kissed him something. Doesn't make sense. So we know that it has to be lo. How about I bought her this? I bought her this. What would that be? Le compré esto. Le compré esto. So something is being given is being passed on. There's a something there, so it has to be le. And the test, I bought her, and then we could put in something. My example was using this, but we could try it with something, and yes, it sounds fine. I bought her something. So I bought her this is le compré algo. And how about I lent her something? I lent her something. What would that be? Le presté algo. Le presté algo. And we have the something there already, but it could be le presté mi teléfono. I lent her my phone. And we could do the test. I lent her something. Yeah, it's fine. So we know it's got to be le. So we're seeing that the lo and la, the direct object pronouns, are when nothing's being given or passed on. If it is, then we would need le. How about I avoided him? What would that be? I avoided him. Let's say I avoided him yesterday. Lo evité ayer. Lo evité ayer. It has to be lo because there isn't another object. There isn't a something that's being handed to, sent to, given to, lent to him. Or even if something was said to him, he was told something, then it would have to be le as well. For example, le dije algo. I said something to him, or I told him something. So as a follow-up to this, you could get a list of verbs, whichever tense you want to practice, and decide would we be using lo or la or le. And so that's all we have time for in today's lesson. As mentioned earlier, if you're looking to become a confident and a competent speaker of Spanish, head over to prospanish.co.uk where you can download the full Levels 1 to 6 course.